Breaking news.
EA Sports.
It's in the game.
In the game. It's back, baby. It's back. That's that dude Ruben.
And that's that dude Josh.
As we mentioned before, EA Sports, it's in the game. So we're both excited, super excited about the news that just dropped yesterday. Via Twitter, EA announced they're bringing back their football game. For those of y'all that don't know, EA Sports College Football Game was one of the best sports games throughout the 2000s decade and then into the early 2010s. After the 2013 game, well, NCAA 2014, but released in 2013. After that game was dropped, NCAA or EA Sports announced they weren't going to be making another game after that, and a large part of that is due to the lawsuits that were taking place at the time. Legal battles going on in the courts over whether players could benefit off of NCAA trademarks and whatnot. So because of that, NCAA as well as many of the conferences decided that they were going to have to part ways. They weren't going to renew their deal with EA Sports, which caused EA Sports to not be able to make a college football game. So we're both stoked. Both of us, I know for me, it was probably my favorite game growing up, but I know for you it was probably one of your favorite games too.
All-time favorite game. And look, we can talk about the legalities and why the game really went away and talk about all the lawsuits and how it just got resolved within the last 2 years. But that's for a whole other segment. We're going to rejoice. We're going to talk about the good stuff. The game is coming back. The last game that was made was NCAA College Football 2014, of course, which was made in 2013, which was released in 2013. It was made for the PlayStation 3 console, Xbox 360 console, and then all the other consoles that were around at that time. Since then, again, no new games have been made. Me personally, and I know I'm not the only one, I am still playing my PlayStation 3 and my NCAA 2014 because that is the last version that was made.
Speaking of that, he's been playing 2014. I've been playing 07, 08, 09, trying to decide which one of the versions of the games was my greatest version ever. 08, by the way, best game ever. So the reason they're able to bring the game back now is due to the CLC working out something with the colleges that are going to be in the game. For those that don't know, it was announced that over 100 schools would be back in the game. There are 130 FBS schools, which is kind of strange hearing that 100 plus, not necessarily 130, so we don't know that all teams are going to be in the game, but the fact that so many are going to be there should excite people. So what the CLC did, the college licensing company, they were able to work out deals with those schools, 100 plus schools that are going to be in the game, with the ability to have stadiums, jerseys, mascots, to name a few things. Those are all going to be a part of the game with the teams that are going to be in the game. Hopefully by the time this all gets settled, all 130 FBS teams will be in there, but as of now it says 100 plus, whatever that means. So, but either way, we're super stoked that we even have a game coming back. It's been 8 years since we've had a release of a game. They did say they won't be dropping this game in 2021, but hopefully next year, hopefully 2022. That gives them about a year and a half to work on the game. So hopefully by 2022 we'll have another college football game. So we're stoked.
I'm thinking by summer 2022, August. That's generally when the NCAA game would already be released. I'm thinking that's a good time frame of when it'll come out.
Yeah.
We are both super stoked. For those that don't know, there are a ton of people out there that are super stoked, primarily for the reason because when the game does get released, on assuming this to be PlayStation 5 and other new consoles at that time, it'll be cheaper than what NCAA College Football 2014 is going for right now. There are several outlets on the internet right now where this game is going for over $100, and it's because the demand is so high because there is no game that is being made. So that's great news, just 100% all around. So these are the top 5 things that we're looking forward to in this new game of NCAA. Again, it's going to be on 7 years and probably 8 years by the time the game is released. This is going to be the top things that we are looking for. Starting at number 5, we're looking at the ability to transfer coaches and players from the draft classes from NCAA college football to Madden. I think that would be awesome. There has been that ability to download draft classes from NCAA football to Madden.
It makes it more authentic when you're able to carry your players over, play with them throughout their college career, and then transfer them over to Madden and then build their legacy as far as a professional athlete, it makes both games better actually. So, and number 4, in-depth recruiting. The recruiting's through, for those of y'all that have played the college football game in the past, have been pretty base level. They just need to add on to that. If they can add on to that, it'd make the game much better, because recruiting is one of the main aspects to the game. I mean, you got the play now, you got dynasty mode. Those are your main 2 things for the game. So, and recruiting is always one of the main things as far as building a dynasty, building a team up, and taking them to the next level. So the more in-depth the recruiting is, I think the better the game will be.
Yeah, and actually, I would, to add on to what Josh is saying, recruiting is almost as equal as the game playing itself. I mean, that's 50% of the game because it's college. Recruiting is year-round. College is just, you're just playing the games for X amount of time. You're recruiting the entire time that you're playing. So
right.
Definitely in-depth recruiting, and also I would love to see if they made a bigger deal out of signing day. I don't know, signing day is already a big deal in real life. It'd be cool to see that on the video game aspect.
Number 3, the transfer portal. As we all know, the transfer portal has taken over college football. I mean, you didn't hear about it 10 years ago, hardly ever, but now you got players from every team at the end of every season jumping into the transfer portal for one reason or another. Rather it's to go from a smaller school to a bigger school to have more of a spotlight on themselves, or rather it's going from a big school to a small school to get more playing time. You see people transferring all the time for one reason or another.
Yeah, there was no portal, and I think it'd be pretty cool to add on to that. What if there was a transfer portal option of all the players that were entered in the transfer portal, and you could essentially bid on them, or you could recruit for them? I think that'd be so cool.
Right, so basically recruiting the players that are in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
That could go to both. That could go to the in-depth recruiting, and that can go to our number 3, the transfer portal itself. So yeah, definitely just transfer portal is a must. Number 2, playoff expansion capability. So we know, or we assume, that there's going to be a 14 playoff in the game, because they're going to try to make it as real as possible. So there's going to be 14 playoff. My thing is, let us expand. So many people across the nation. Some people are against it, but I think for the most part, more people are going with the idea that playoff needs to be expanded to at least 6, maybe 8, but just give the user of the game the ability to play how he or she wants to play. Rather that's with the 14 playoff, rather that's perhaps the old BCS way, or if that's expanding to 6, 8, 16, maybe 24 at the most, or something like that. Just the ability to let the user play the way he wants to play is basically the idea behind it.
Yeah, why this is important is because, again, referencing the last college football game that came out, when that was out, that was still when the BCS was still around. So the college football playoff was not a thing. It is a thing that came out, I believe, a year or two after the last college football game was released. So this is a huge deal. Right now it is at 4 teams. It could expand in the near future. We don't know that for sure. So to have that option in this video game would also be really cool. Also, why Josh is super pumped about the expansion of the playoffs in this college football game is because he wants to expand it to 24 teams so he can get as many Sun Belt and WAC teams in there. That's ridiculous. He's going to make it a joke, but whatever, it's his choice.
Let's go, Bobcats. So our number 1 thing, customization. Customization is critical to this game, specifically to this game, because the NCAA, EA Sports doesn't have any rights as far as player likeness. They don't have any rights with the This is not with the NCAA. Notice the game's called EA Sports College Football now, and NCAA was left out. So they're not working with the NCAA, which brings to question, are there going to be the actual real bowl games in the game? Are there going to be actual real conferences in the game? Are the teams in specific conferences going to be with the same group of teams they're with in real life? Or are they just going to be all thrown in there, all mixed up or whatnot? So we don't know those things. So customization, just allowing you to put the teams in the conferences they belong to, or I mean, if you want to change their conferences, you can do that too. Just making it as user friendly as possible.
Yeah, and also a couple other features. Obviously, the alternate jerseys. I think that's huge. Having every university have multiple jerseys to choose from, even if it's something they don't normally wear. Also, I know one that we hadn't even really talked about. I think it'd be cool if you could customize a rivalry game and then include some sort of trophy to go with it. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
so,
because who knows if they're going to have that in the game. So or if there's new rivalries happen or whatnot,
yeah,
you can add that whenever you want in the game as well. So yeah, those are our 5 things. What do you think? Comment down below.
Comment down below, like, share, subscribe, reshare, post, do everything you got to do.
Pound that like button. Now. Do it now.